examples, and then I'll give you some more practice work on this subject. Okay, so this will be just to confirm that you're doing it right, or to let you know whether you're doing it wrong. So that you can pick things up. Okay. So I'll just randomly pick a few keys. So we just try G minor. When they give you, okay, listen carefully so you know sort of what the format is. I see you. All right. So if they give you, let's say they give you 3/4, all right, and they give you a half rest. So that means you're going to go chord and then chord. Okay, so you fit your rhythm into this, and usually the chords are going to be over the bar line. So you're going to get some more examples. That's just the way they do it. Okay, so first thing you always do. Okay, we'll do various versions of it. Okay, first thing you need to know is make sure that you've got your chords, your triads correct, right? So triad 1, G, B, D. Okay. Chord 4. What's chord 4? In G minor. Chord 4. Quick, use your fingers. Boom.
It's C.
Okay. C, E flat G. And then D, F, A. Okay, when you're working with this little sign, minor, what do you need to do? Lucas, minor key. Right, so D, F sharp, A. Okay, so you leave this, so that's only going to be in the chord 5, but if you leave that up, you're going to lose a mark. That's pretty standard, right? That's a basic, it just shows you don't have a basic understanding that this is harmonic minor and you raise the leading note. So you get penalized for that. Okay, so if we did, let's do the 4 to 5. Just do a half cadence, all right? So bass is going to be the root. So C moving to D. All right. Okay, so you start with that. Then, there's different ways you can, different methods you can do. At this point, you're basically thinking vertically. You know, I need another C, I need another E, and I need a G. Okay, so when you go up this way, I think probably the best sort of advice that I can give you is put your tenor sort of around the top line. Okay, so the closest note would be a G or maybe even a C. So either one of those would be perfectly acceptable. Let's put C. Okay, and the stem goes up. Okay, all right. This is not keyboard style. This is chorale style that we're doing here. Okay, so you've got your C's. You need an E and a G. So it's your choice. You can put E and G, or G and E. Both of those make sense. This is a good alto note. That's a perfectly legitimate soprano note. Or it could be, they could both be down here. This looks nice. Sort of a nice open chord. And I don't have more than an octave here, more than an octave here. Here, it doesn't matter. That could be more than an octave. Okay? So now 4 to 5, this is what I was talking about last time. For this chord progression, the word progression simply means going from one chord to another. Chord progression. So if you have more than one chord, it's called a chord progression. Okay, does anybody remember what the advice was when you have this half cadence combination, 4 to 5? No. Yes.
You have to move in contrary motion.
Yeah. So the best way to go is soprano, alto, tenor, down. Not just anywhere down, but down to the closest logical note in the next key, or in the next chord. Okay? So now we're going to D, F sharp, A. So here's what you ask yourself. Just, I don't care, start here. With this guy here, going that way, what's the closest note? Well, it's D, right? So that's your choice. For the alto, closest note would be F sharp. And the tenor would be A. And you're done. That's it. It's that straightforward. Okay? So what I usually when I have this chord progression 4 to 5 in harmony, you'll probably see this. Just as a reminder. Soprano, alto, tenor, down. Right? So only for 4 to 5. Okay? And again, the reason was to avoid the parallel fifths and octaves, which were considered in this style not desirable. Okay? It's not. I don't like to use the word rule or wrong. It's just too negative. But it's just not desirable. If you look at composers, basically what they did. And one of the things you're going to hear from me often is whenever I have a serious question about harmony, like a chord or something like that, I generally will ignore any harmony books written, ever. Because to me, what's more important is, it's like, what did Mozart do? What did Beethoven do? Because everything's based on them, their practice, right? So let's see, what did he do? What did Bach do? How did Bach treat this combination of chords? And that's where my answer is. Because the harmony guys, they just look at all this stuff and then they put it into chapters and have a nice appendix, write books just to justify, their job at some university somewhere. But it's the composers that made this stuff work. Okay, so just remember that, 4 to 5. Okay. Let's suppose we had 5, 1. Same key. What the heck? All right, so let's use the same. And we'll go up. All right, so there's my authentic. Five one. If you're asked to, again, the Roman numerals, this actually should have been a lowercase. Sorry, right? Because it's a C minor, C E flat G. This one is uppercase, lowercase. 5-1. Okay, so this one here. Again, go up that way. So instead of doing the octave, let's do this. Okay, so I need another D. So that could be up there, that could be up there or there. And I need an F sharp. Okay. Let's try something more dramatic. All right, nice close. Everybody's close together. Different effect than when it's spread up. Okay. So then we go common note. So we're going 5 to 1. So the common note is this guy here. So if possible, leave it. Alright. I need another G. So the only logical place to put that one is that guy. Alright. And the B goes there. If you have dots, again, the dots go into the space next to the note. Alright. And what you notice here is the totally smooth movement. Okay? I was going to say no jumping, but obviously the bass is the one that's going to be jumping. But the upper part's as smooth as possible. Okay? And if you're doing it like this, what you're going to find is the guy that stays put. All right? So you have one guy that stays put, and the other two, again, move smoothly in the same direction. All right, one more. Let's try a play goal. Which would be lower one. And we'll go down this way. Okay, so, and again, just for something different, C, I'm going to give it a tenor. All right, so that's the E, right above middle C. Not extraordinarily high for tenor. I mean, you know, let's talk about like an opera guy. How high was a tenor? Anybody know how high a tenor would be expected to sing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like an A? A B?
Well, they can go even a C above middle C.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's not like what you guys would. If you had to do that, you guys would just go do falsetto or whatever. But that's full, full chest.
I used to do that.
Yeah. So that's a highly trained opera guy voice, right? A choir, you wouldn't ask a choir to do that. That's probably ridiculous. But yeah, just think of that, right?
That's
No, the other octave. No, not falsetto. You don't cheat. Okay. So here's a possibility. Again, I use these examples. If you sort of take in the visual, right? One of the things that I find is, when I mark some of this, like harmony exercises and things like that, I just realized I often I don't even look at the actual notes. You get a sort of an eye, like it just looks right. There's a certain look to the correct placement of notes that you sort of develop that, call it a skill or just a way of looking at it. So if you look at that, the placement of the notes, where the soprano sits, where the alto sits in relationship, no more than octave, and they're logically positioned. Just go from your own experience. Okay? All right, this one here. So G, for example, stick with that idea. If you can keep the common voice, do so. Next week, when we move to the next stage of this, sometimes you won't be able to do that. The reason is they will give you the soprano, so you're going to have to fit your chord to work within that context. So sometimes you can't keep the common note. But generally, in any harmony studies, that's like lesson number 1. Keep the common note where possible. It's always that where possible, if you can, right? Because what that does is it anchors the whole thing. So you're not going to be doing weird jumping. So anyway, you'll see. Okay, so for example, GG, got them. Need a B and a D. Well, that would probably be, have those two guys coming down, right? So this guy would go to the B, and this guy would go to a D. Right? Okay, so the thing to notice here, more than an octave between tenor and bass. That's acceptable. Okay, again, for acoustic reasons. You know? Like if you're writing, well, it's sort of a very standard things. If you're, for example, writing for instruments or whatever, the lower you go, the more you need to spread them out because of that acoustic thing. The higher you go, the more they can be closer together because the clashing, the acoustic clashing of those harmonics is outside your hearing range, so it's not relevant. But if you're down there, you know, then you did a C major triad down here. It still works, but it's kind of muddy. So what we would probably do is, you know, spread it out over a bigger space. It works better. Okay, so play goal. That's it. So just watch out. Leading note. So there's no leading note here, so we don't have to worry about that. Make sure your stems are in the right place, and just logical opening. Alright. So I just got more practice for you. This is actually from the level 7. So you probably did this last year. But I just sort of tweaked it a little bit. Added play goal. So just more practice. Yeah, you can do it.